On the evening of the 5th of December 2013, the dreaded yet inevitable moment finally arrived. Nelson Mandela was dead.
He is now resting. He is now at peace. Our nation has lost its greatest son. Our people have lost a father.
A great man has passed tonight.
Grief flowed not only here in South Africa, but around the world. Later that night, Madiba's body was moved to one military hospital in Pretoria from his home in Houghton. Crowds of mourners gathered over the weekend that followed, from Madiba's home in Johannesburg to London's Parliament Square, from Vilakazi Street in Soweto to Beijing, New York and the Vatican. Several state buildings were draped in banners paying tribute to Madiba. On Robben Island, a candle was lit in the prison cell where the statesman had spent most of his 3 decades behind bars. And all the while, government was preparing for the biggest memorial service in the country's history. 91 heads of state were due to attend.
In addition to the 91, we've got 10 former heads of state and government who are also coming. You can also add to that figure kings, queens, princes, princesses, as well as representatives of organizations like the United Nations. As you know, the UN Secretary General is here. The EU will also be represented by a president, Commonwealth, World Bank, IMF. Everyone is here.
4 days after his death, Parliament held a special sitting where MPs noted the importance of following Madiba's example.
We cannot claim to follow in the footsteps of this inspiring leader when we have these shocking levels of poverty sitting cheek by jowl with fabulously dazzling material riches known to human history.
Our work in taking Madiba's legacy forward is to ensure that many more South Africans are able to use the freedoms that he bequeathed them. Otherwise, we betray his legacy.
All the while holding back the tears.
Heaven, hear me now. I'm almost lost without a cause. After giving my all, after my strength has gone, and when melodies are gone, if in you I can be strong, I look to you.
The skies echoed the mood of millions of South Africans on the day of the memorial, but it didn't stop thousands from braving the rain.
This is how Nelson Mandela would have wanted to be sent off. These are blessings, and in our African tradition, when it rains, when you are buried, it means that your gods are welcoming you, and the gates of heaven are most probably open as well.
The VIP guest list was impressive. Heads of state, royalty, dignitaries and celebrities, all coming to pay tribute to South Africa's most famous son.
Honor y gloria eternas a Nelson Mandela y al heroico pueblo de Sudáfrica.
Honor and glory forever to the great comrade Nelson Mandela and to the heroic people of South Africa.
South Africa has lost a hero. We have lost a father. The world has lost a beloved friend and mentor.
De grandeza e de humanismo representada por Nelson Mandela.
We must pay homage to this unmatched expression of greatness and humanism, as was the case of Nelson Mandela.
While I will always fall short of Madiba's example, he makes me want to be a better man. He speaks to what's best inside us.
But the day was not without controversy. President Jacob Zuma was humiliated before he could deliver his address. And days later it emerged that Tamsanqa Jainchi, the sign language interpreter, was a phony. For 3 days after the memorial, Mandela's body lay in state at the Union buildings. Thousands lined the streets of the capital as his cortege moved from one military hospital to the Union buildings. The Mandela family and fellow liberation leaders were the first to pay their respects, followed by close on 100,000 mourners. On the 14th of December, Madiba's body was handed over to the ANC. The party and its alliance partners held a send-off ceremony at the Waterkloof Air Force Base. The C-130 Hercules carrying Madiba's coffin touched down in Mthatha in the Eastern Cape on Saturday afternoon. While government was putting the final touches to funeral preparations, thousands lined the route to the Mandela family home. A day later, it was time for the final goodbye. Funeral proceedings got underway early that morning. The Mandela family and close friends, President Zuma and his cabinet, as well as other dignitaries, local and foreign, came to bid their final respects.
We shall miss your voice as you told us stories of your childhood. We shall miss your laughter. We'll carry lessons you taught us throughout our lives as we make you proud. As South Africans, we must stop pointing fingers, but rather we must live by example as you did and do something positive for South Africa.
Madiba showed us the way. Whether you're white, black, yellow, or brown, you're all God's children.
Today, mingled with our grief, is the enormous pride that one of our own has, during his lifetime and now in your death, united the people of South Africa and the entire world on a scale never before experienced in history.
Buried at his family home just after midday, Madiba finally ended his long walk to freedom. Nicolaas Bauer, Johannesburg.